Well, hey, everybody. So this is take 2 of our live stream reviews. In case you were on the first one, OBS crashed on us.
And then it stopped the stream. I was trying to get it back. Wasn't fast enough.
So here we are again. Hopefully everybody finds their way back. If not, they can watch the replay, right?
Yeah.
So we're going to review 4 church live streams from our Inner Circle subscribers. If you have tips along the way, we want to hear from you too. So drop those in the comments. Just be constructive in your feedback. We review live streams once a month, and this is specifically for our Inner Circle subscribers. So if you want us to review your live stream, you got to go join Inner Circle, and you do that at collaborateworship.com, or you can use the link in the description. And I imagine you're here because you want to improve your live stream mix, and the best way that I can help you out is with a course that I created called Live Stream Mix Made Simple. I've made that course available to you for free, so you can get access to that using the link in the description or collaborateworship.com. There's a bar at the top. You can use that as well. And also one more freebie to throw your way. I have a mixing cheat sheet just to help you out on Sunday mornings to make sure you have the lead vocal, the lead instrument mixed right for each song. It's kind of hard to keep track of that sometimes. So go download that for free, mixing cheat sheet, using the link in the description. All right, let's get this thing going. Our first review here is from Zach Wright. He's from Family Church. He wants to create consistency week to week with their audio and the way things look. So they're talking about camera framing, shot selection, and speed. He's asking, what can we do to improve, and how can we be more consistent in that effort with many different people on the team? So let's take a look and listen, and we'll go from there.
Screen, please.
Wandering into the night, wanting a place to hide this weary soul, this bag of bones. I tried with all my might, I just can't win the fight. I'm slowly drifting, a vagabond. Just when I ran out of road, I met a man I didn't know, and he told me that I was not alone. He picked me up, he turned me around, he placed my feet on solid ground. I thank the Master, I thank the Savior, because he healed my heart and he changed my name forever.
So first of all, I think this is really good. I'm really impressed with your mix. It sounds, I can hear everything. It's really well balanced. I can hear the instruments. I can hear the vocals. Your vocals are EQ'd very well. So great job with all that. There's only one constructive thing that I would tell you is that it sounds a little bit like swimmy, because you must either have too much ambient mic in your mix or you have too much reverb in your mix. One of those two, maybe a combination of both. I would dial that down so the sound has more punch to it, more directness to it. There's just a little bit too much ambience going on. Other than that, man, great job.
Awesome. What was he wanting feedback on again?
The framing of their shots and like how fast they're switching between shots.
All right, let me look through this again. Let's turn that volume up while I'm watching this. We can hear a little more.
Turn me around, you place my feet on solid ground. I thank the Master, I thank the Savior, because you healed my heart and you changed my name forever free.
I think things are looking pretty good. There was one shot I noticed a second ago. Like, okay, this one right here, it's pointed up a little too much. There's a little too much headroom going on. That's one thing I'm noticing off the bat. I'm noticing some front lighting inconsistencies, like that one girl in the jean jacket there's brighter than everybody else, and everybody else is looking a little dark. This shot right here looks good. I think that's a cool shot from the side. There's that shot again that has a little too much headroom. I would just pan that down a little bit.
They're probably trying to, there's quite a height difference going on between those two.
Yeah.
But since the lead singer, you probably want to frame to her more so. You don't necessarily want to cut the other person out, but if she's hitting the top of the frame, it's not a big deal.
Yeah. Well, there's even still too much headroom above the violinist.
Yeah.
That shot is good. That one might have just a tiny bit too much headroom. Not a lot, though.
Couldn't it be zoomed in a little more, too?
Yeah, it could be zoomed in if you have some extra range on the lens. Camera quality looks really good, though. I think he said he's using Blackmagic cameras, right?
Yeah.
I'm just continually impressed with the quality of those for how much they cost. And the fact that it's a micro four third sensor.
He needs some light on him if you can get it there.
Yeah, on the drums. If you can get some lighting on the drummer, that would be good. That shot's looking a little dark. Skin tones are a little dark. And then I would get that girl on the right further into the frame. Like, we don't really want her on the edge of it. Again, a little too much headroom here. You don't really want somebody's head like right in the middle of the frame like that when it's that kind of framing. That one looks good. I like the dark congregation in the foreground. I don't know. I think overall you're doing a really good job. It's just a little, some framing adjustments. See if you can do some lighting adjustments to get everyone looking a little more consistent. If you're not willing to use more lights for those dark people, or you don't have the ability to, then maybe just try bumping up your exposure a little bit. I don't notice any noise, so it looks like you got some room to bump up the ISO if you need to. See, like that girl right there in the jean jacket, her exposure is perfect if you can get the other vocalist to that.
Those skin tones are good.
Yeah, they do look good. Good job on the white balance. Everything's looking consistent. I think I noticed one that looked a little bit blue, but it looked like it was from a certain light shining on it. I don't think it was a white balance issue.
Man, I'm trying to figure out the height difference is so extreme on this shot, like how you would frame it correctly.
I would zoom in to make that vocalist the subject of that shot, and then wherever the person behind them is, just let them be, you know. It might be cutting off their head or whatever, but just make sure it's clear who the subject of it is. If it's supposed to be both of them, if that's your goal, just get your headroom looking good for the person that's highest in the shot, I guess.
So we wanted some tips for consistency, both with sound and with video, whenever they have different volunteers serving from week to week. I'll touch on the sound piece. That's something that I teach in my Church Sound Made Simple course. There's actually 3 different courses in that Church Sound Made Simple training, and one of them is called Consistent Mixing Made Simple, and it gives you a strategy, a process to have a consistent mix regardless of who the volunteer is that week. And how we do that is there's some foundational aspects of sound that everybody needs to be doing the same. And then there is some room for creativity outside of that as well. But as long as they're doing those foundational things the same, you're going to have consistency from week to week. So if that's what you're aiming for, if that's what you want, go check out Church Sound Made Simple. Get access to that because it's going to help you achieve consistency in your sound. What do you think about as far as consistency with people being swapped out behind the cameras and things like that?
Well, if you can just keep it as simple as possible in terms of what they're having to do throughout the service. If you got a complicated list of instructions for volunteers, you just can't set too high of expectations for volunteers, especially when everybody's at a different skill level.
I don't know if this would work or not, but I'm thinking like you print off a picture of your ideal framing for each camera and kind of maybe have it like taped below the camera or somewhere available next to the camera, just so they have like, this is what we want this to look like. So seems like that would go a long way. I
think I remember reading in that Google sheet that he only has 3 manned cameras. Everything else should just be set and left how it is, but I don't even notice a lot of camera movement.
Yeah, maybe they don't have camera operators. Maybe he's just talking about whoever's behind the switcher.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, if he has different switchers from week to week. I'm curious to know, like, what kind of problems you're having from person to person, like what the inconsistencies are. I think how often you're switching is fine. You could probably even do it a tiny bit more, but it's not too fast, and I don't feel like it's too slow.
Sweet.
Sorry, I was just trying to see. I thought I saw a shot that I didn't see before. If you have any more questions we didn't just answer, leave them in the comments if you're here, and I'll try to answer those more clearly.
All right, let's move on to the next one, which is from Michael Moore. He's from Sarasota Baptist Church. He says, any suggestions to keep cameras from vibrating from their subs, and also need some help with their general mix balance. They have issues with drums getting into the microphones. Hey, welcome to the club. All right, so let's take a watch and listen and go from there. Vocal mix is really good. Good job on that. Balance between vocals and instruments, though. The instruments are a little too heavy compared to the vocals. Some of the vocal words are getting lost, so I would bring the overall vocal mix up a little bit. Oh my goodness, they have live horns. I was wondering what that was. That's awesome.
Heck yeah.
Okay, so two main things to fix on this. One is the kick drum is kind of sabotaging your mix overall. It has a lot of sub low end energy going on, but no clarity to it. It just kind of sounds like a, and then it's too loud in the mix, so it's just kind of distracting. Most people probably aren't going to notice that because they're probably listening on their phone or something like that. But whenever you actually have high fidelity headphones on, or maybe you're listening in your car, it's just going to be overwhelming too much. So I would fix that kick drum. It sounds like you may be doing an EQ boost somewhere around like 80 hertz area. If you are, pull that down. It doesn't need to be there, and that'll bring clarity to your kick drum. You'll also want to sweep through that like 5 to 8 kilohertz frequency spectrum on your kick drum and maybe apply a little boost in that area. This is called the click of the kick drum. That's the attack of the beater hitting the head of the kick drum. You want to hear that as well as the low end energy. So I would put a little boost there to get some more clarity out of the kick drum. It'll make a big difference. And then the other thing I already mentioned, the vocal mix is just a little bit buried in the instrumental mix. So get some more balance there. Bring the vocals a little bit higher. Not too much, but just a little bit higher. And those two things, and your mix is golden. I'm really impressed.
John actually beat you to the comment about the kick drum.
Nice.
He's actually commenting on, he noticed how big it is too, and how they might benefit from a smaller one. That kind of almost looks like
That is a big kick drum.
like a marching band kick drum.
Yeah, they may need to change the kick drum, but if that's not an option, you could also change with where you're positioning the mic, and I forgot to mention that. That mic may be too far out of the porthole. I'm trying to see where it is. The further you move the mic into the drum, the clearer the sound is going to be and the less like you're going to get. So maybe start there before you do anything with EQ. Mess around with the placement of the kick drum, move it in and out of that porthole, and see if you can get more clarity out of it.
It was sounding good though.
Yeah, very good.
I liked it. Man, I wish we had some horns. That'd be sick.
I was thinking that was a backing track, and then like they have the shot of the horns. I'm like, oh yeah.
I bet they don't even use backing tracks. They don't even need them.
Nope. All right, Dylan, what do you think about visuals?
Overall, it's looking good. I did notice a few things. Did they have any specific comments on what they want? Well, I guess I could look too.
He didn't have anything specific.
Okay, no specific comments on that. I noticed the shots looking a little flat, like your contrast needs to be adjusted a little bit. Oh, we're leaving the worship scene there.
Back up.
Like across the board, it looks a little bit flat to me. I think everything could use a little bit more contrast. Can you look in? Well, just kidding. You can't look because you'll take it away. What kind of cameras was he using? This is Sarasota Baptist, right?
Yes.
Mix of Blackmagic Studio and PTZ. Ooh, that's an interesting thing to have to mix. I'm trying to see if I can find the PTZ cameras. That looks like a Blackmagic. I don't know. Maybe the flat ones are the PTZ cameras, or maybe actually no, the flat ones might be the Blackmagic, and you have a color profile that's making it look flat. I think I was helping somebody else out with this, and I can't remember off the top of my head. So message me in Inner Circle, and I'll help you with the color profile on those cameras. And then that guy on the piano, he was looking a little overexposed. Your white balance overall looks pretty good though. I noticed a little bit of greenness in the shots, just a tiny bit. So maybe if you could add a little bit of magenta to help balance that out, make your skin tones look a little bit better. And then the shot that we're paused on right now has a little too much headroom, is one thing I noticed as well.
I don't think the black adds anything to the shot. So you could pan that all the way down to where it's just the color in the background,
Yeah, that's
right?
what I was about to say. We don't need that black at all. And then it would look really good. And you could even zoom it in some more if you have some more lens room. just a tiny bit.
This one's a little dark compared to the others.
Yeah, I bet they just don't have enough lighting down there in that area of the room. If you're able to, see if you can boost exposure on camera if it looks too noisy. I think you're going to have to add some more lighting down there if you want it to look the correct exposure. Just a few adjustments, though. I think it looks pretty good. That shot's a little too bright. I noticed his hair's blown out, and then the cymbals were blown out.
I bet that's hard with white hair.
Yeah, especially when there's a light shining right on it.
Yeah, because that's like white. I hope I have hair that white whenever I'm old.
I know, I'm excited for gray hair. I don't know why.
Awesome. Very good. Let's move along to the next one. Are there any questions in the comments that we need to address?
Let's see. I don't see any new ones.
Cool. Well, this next one is from Dawn, and she's from Woodside Church. They've been working on their drum mix and settings, so we want to pay attention to that. Is the main thing. So here we go.
In your name, this we know, this we know. You promised never to forsake. What you began, you will sustain. This we know, this we know. I will call upon the Lord, for He alone is strong enough to save. Rise, your shackles are no more, for Jesus Christ has broken.
I can tell you've been working on your drum mix. It sounds really good. The kick sounds good. The snare sounds good. The only thing you could do to make it better is to add some reverb to the snare and the toms. I recommend putting a room reverb on those. If you're using the X32, they have one called Vintage Drum Treat, a preset that sounds really good for drums. But if you don't have that, just a small to medium bright room will sound really good on the drums, and you can be pretty liberal with that reverb. It'll bring the drums to life.
As we declare your victory, this we know, this we know.
All right, so on your vocal mix, your background vocals are way too loud. If I wasn't musical, I would have a hard time distinguishing who the lead vocal was. Like, who am I supposed to follow? Who am I supposed to sing along with? So you want to blend those background vocals, the vocal melodies, or the vocal harmonies. You want to blend those into the instrumental mix, not so much out front.
I will call upon the Lord, for He alone.
See that high female vocal? We'll call upon the Lord. She's singing up there. That she sounds like the lead vocal, but she's not. That's not the lead part. And we kind of run into this with one of our sound guys too. He doesn't have a musical background, so it's harder for him to know like what is the lead versus the harmony. So if you don't know that and you're running sound, simply ask the worship leader, "Hey, I got a question. Who's the lead vocal in this song?" And you should always know that so that you can mix them in the right place.
Call His name, Jesus' name above every other. All hail the power of Jesus' name.
I think the main thing is you need to work on your effects because that piano needs some reverb as well. It's just a very dry sounding mix. You add those effects into there, you're going to notice that the mix comes to life. This probably sounds good in your room because rooms have natural reverb to them. We use reverb in conjunction with that in our room. It depends how much you like. But on a live stream mix, you have no room reverb. We're listening to it in a pair of headphones. So you have to create that ambience for the listener. So I actually have a video on collaborateworship.com it's about 3 different reverbs that I recommend using. And it walks you through all 3 different ones. I use a plate reverb on vocals. I use a hall reverb on instruments and a room reverb on drums. It'll walk you through how to set all those up. Just go to collaborateworship.com, hit free content, and then search for reverb. And you'll find that video. It's going to make a huge difference in your mix. All right. Dylan, what do you think about visuals?
I think once again they look good. Visual game, this live stream is up there. You guys are doing a great job. As far as white balance, it looks a tiny bit magenta. See if you can take some magenta out, add some green, however you want to say that. I don't know if I'm the biggest fan of the dissolves every time we change camera angles. What do you think about dissolves?
I think that, like, when used occasionally, dissolves are fine, but it does get a little tiring visually whenever it's every camera change. And I think the reason it gets tiring is because nobody else is doing that. Like, that's whenever we're watching TV, that's not how they're switching cameras.
It's not what your brain is used to.
Yeah, it's not what we're used to.
Let us know in the comments what everybody else thinks about dissolves. I'm curious. I'm fine with it every now and then. I just think every shot, like you said, it gets a little tiring. Your exposure looks good. Your skin tones are right on. I would say you could probably switch camera angles a little bit more often since you have a few to work with. I can't remember how many there were total, but I'm waiting for it to change again.
Now, this one here should probably pan over to the right to where the vocal is, like, towards the center of the shot. That's just my personal opinion, because there's nothing on the left of the frame that's of interest.
Correct.
You know what I mean?
I wonder if they have it framed that way because there's typically somebody else over there.
Yeah.
But if there's not and you're able to move it, I would recommend panning it over. This one, a little too much headroom like we've talked about before, and your lead vocalist there is blown out, so a little overexposed. Sorry, I'm just waiting for these camera shots to change so I can view something different. I get a little more room on the right side than the left side with this one, and I would maybe zoom in a little bit more. I think there's a little too much background on that one. I'm noticing just a tiny bit of inconsistency between white balance from shot to shot too. It's not awful. I just think I could use a little more fine tuning to get them a little closer. That's all I'm noticing so far. I think everything looks good.
Awesome. Thanks for sending that in. I think we have one more.
Uno más.
And this is from Jason. And he's from the Life Church, Apollo Beach. He's worried that the vocals and drums don't sit right in the mix. He just switched to the Wing about a month ago, the Behringer Wing. And I tell you what, that is a cool mixer. We are working on our Wing Mastery course, which will come out in mid-September. I got the Wing sitting in my office right now. I get to look at it every day. And the more I spend time with it, the more I like it. It's a really impressive mixer, actually. All right, so let's see. He wanted us to start at 1 hour and 24:31.
Shout out to Sweetwater, by the way, for sending us that Wing.
Yeah.
They're pretty awesome.
All right, rock and roll. Here we go.
1,000 generations and your family and your children and the children and the children. May His favor be upon you and 1,000 generations and your family and your children and the children and the children. May His presence go before you and behind you and beside you, all around you and within you. He is with you in the morning, in the evening, and you're coming and you're going.
Now, one thing I love is that I know who the lead vocal is. So this is a great example of the lead vocals in the front of the mix, so we know who we're following. As far as the lead vocal goes, I think it can sound a little warmer than it does. He sounds a little harsh. So you may be a little too aggressive on that low cut filter. Maybe back that off and see if it adds some warmth to his vocal. Maybe he just has a pretty thin vocal overall, so you may even need to like use a low shelving filter to add some of that warmth around 200 hertz or so, which I've never had to do that on a vocal, but I'm not saying that you never would. I mean, every vocal is different, so I would just try to find a way to add some more warmth to him. Okay, so on the drums, you're right. They're not really sitting right in the mix. From what I hear, it sounds like all you have is maybe a couple of overhead mics on the drums, and that's it. Or maybe it's just picking them up from the room. They sound very distant. I can tell that there's no direct mic like on the snare drum. There's no mic on the kick drum or on the toms. If you don't have those drums mic'd like that, that's your next step, because that's the only way you're going to get the right sound for the live stream mix. You have to mic every single drum. If you do have those mics already in place, they don't even sound like they're in the live stream mix. So go make sure those are routed to your live stream mix, that they're going there. And if they are, turn them up. They need a whole lot more than what's currently in there.
In the morning, in the evening, and you're coming, and you're going, and you're waiting.
Yeah, I think those drums might be kind of thrown off the whole thing because they're creating like this ambience thing in the background that just sounds kind of strange combined with everything else. So if you're here right now, let me know how the drums are mic'd so that we can further diagnose. If you're not tuned in right now, or if you missed this in the YouTube comments, just let me know in Inner Circle how the drums are mic'd, and we can further diagnose that problem. All right, Dylan, what do you think about visuals?
I was waiting this whole time for a different shot, and there it is finally. I was wondering if there was a full band shot or if it was just that close up. With this full band shot, I think you can zoom in a little bit more to get a little closer to them because I see some extra space there on the edges. White balance is consistent from shot to shot, so good job there. But I would say it looks a little too warm. Skin tones are looking too orange. So I would cool it down a tiny bit. I think for a worship setting, the exposure looks good. It might be a little dark, but it's not too dark. I think if you were going for a darker look, it's fine. But it could probably benefit from being a tiny bit brighter. Again, skin tones are a little too orange there. Orange. Are you supposed to pronounce the A in orange?
I don't know.
What do you think? I think overall it looks good.
Yeah.
For working with two cameras.
Yep. Good job.
Coolio. I like the lyric banners there at the bottom too. Those look good.
I want to hear what another song sounds like.
We put our trust in your name, Jesus. There's nothing to fear. You are here with us. And we put our hope in your name, Jesus. Oh, let me hear you sing it. Blessing and honor, glory and power unto our God forever and ever. All of the honor, all of the praise is yours forever.
Yep, same thing on that song. We need to warm up that lead vocal and then fix the drum mix there. I assume that's where the too much ambience problem is coming from. Like I said, those drum overhead mics, but if you have room mics as well, you may need to dial those back to get the right balance between direct sound and ambience. Ambience is an add-in. I hear, what I've heard today is that we're kind of struggling with like how much ambience to put into the mix. There were mixes that didn't have enough and mixes that had too much. There's a delicate balance there. You have to kind of think your direct sound from your mix, and then you bring in your ambience right up until it actually sounds like you're in the room instead of having this dry, direct sound. But if you come over, or if you even come as much as the dry mix, it's going to be too much ambience. Some may even be over that. That's easy to do, especially if you're mixing in a pair of headphones in the room. I mean, even whenever you do this, you're still hearing room noise through the headphones, so it's hard to get right. So you may just have to go back and listen to your live stream after a Sunday and be like, well, I had too much that time. Go dial it back for next week until you get it right.
Would you say the philosophy is the same as like when you're putting reverb into it? Pull it in until you notice it and then pull it back a little bit?
Yep.
That's what I do with my in-ears.
Yep. All right. I think that's a wrap.
Let me check for questions here. Somebody's already answering some questions for us about how they get their stream reviewed.
Sweet. Yes, if you want to get your live stream reviewed, you have to be a member of our Inner Circle. You can subscribe to that using the link in the description or go to collaborateworship.com. Another Inner Circle benefit is you get access to our private chat group, which we use Slack for that. It's a great way to get your questions answered on an ongoing basis because, you're going to have another question come up here in a couple days or maybe after next Sunday, and we would love to help you out with that too. All that's a benefit of Inner Circle.
I had something else I was going to say a second ago. Now I forgot. Oh, yeah. I guess you probably want to see our faces now. I'm doing too many things over here. Oh, I was going to say, go pull up our stream from Sunday because I want to show how special you guys were with the lighting on Sunday. Come on, we got to show our fails every now and then, right? So, backstory while he's pulling that up. Go pull it up.
Oh, you want me to pull it up right now?
I want him to see it. It's funny.
All right.
So, our presentation guy that runs the lights, he slept through his alarm which I've done that before too, so I don't blame him. He's literally always on time, so we were kind of concerned that he like died or something. I was like, yo, you okay? So he never showed up for service, and the guys that were back there were trying to figure out the lighting, and Cade was trying to help him. And let me tell you, they got all out of whack. Go to that first song there. Start playing that.
It's a special effect.
He is worthy, amen. Come on, let's give it all to him. Hallelujah.
Full screen that.
Oh, victory.
We wanted to make y'all look like angels.
Oh, now we're going to bring it down.
Victorious, you have come, and what was stolen, you brought back to us. Are you thankful?
And then eventually it got to a point where I couldn't see my fretboard at all.
Oh, victory, you have won. Victory.
Side note, I have to say, I went back to listen to this, and Beth's vocals were very solid on that song that morning.
Bass guitar is too loud. Again, another thing that's hard to get right in a live stream mix when you're mixing from the room.
Our champion, you fight for us. You made a way where there was none. Our champion, you're strong in us.
Where's the green lights? I know I gave you some green lights at some point in there.
The whole first song was an adventure, I'll just say that. Good times.
And so then, like, second song, we thought we might have had it here. So I bring in the lights trying to follow the song there.
I'm sure everybody was extra shocked too, because we usually never have color during the worship set.
Here we go. I was like, I think we got it on the right setting now. We're just going to fade it in with the song. And here we go. You ready? Yeah. Isn't that the right amount of front lighting?
Perfect.
And then I slowly bring it back down.
What's funny is I texted them in between song 1 and 2 to tell them what setting it was supposed to be on, but Cade put it on a whole different page of presets.
Well, we were on the right page at first. It just wasn't working right.
Man, I'll tell you what. That was funny.
So don't ask me to help with the lights. That's what we learned. Well, they were going to leave you guys in the dark. They're just sitting back there running lyrics. So I'm like, y'all, there's no stage lights on at all. Anyway, things that happen at our church.
Someone said the bass guitar can never be too loud. And then someone said more bass equals more salvations.
I love it.
And Sam says, I'm dying. She said her and Brooke looked at each other and just started cracking up.
Oh, I need you to train me on the light board, please.
Yeah, apparently.
Yeah.
Need a backup protocol.
Okay. Well, y'all, thanks for joining us. Hopefully you got a good kick out of that. We're over here making mistakes just like everybody else. So we're all a work in progress. There's always something new to learn. There's always something you can make better. So
True.
That's why I'm glad you guys submit your live stream mix. I mean, that takes humility to do that. So my hat's off to you, and hopefully our advice here and our feedback helps you take the next step and like gives you some what do you call it? Some shortcuts.
Yeah.
So you don't have to learn the hard way.
And we have that free mixing cheat sheet and the free live stream course. But since we got a whole new stream going, the link ain't there anymore. So as soon as this is over, I'll add it. But where can they also find the live stream course?
Collaborateworship.com. You'll find the live stream course on the top, very top banner.
If you want
easy
the
to access.
Mixing cheat sheet, just come back to the video after this is over.
Yes. Well, y'all, have a great evening or great morning if you're somewhere else in the world, and we'll see you next time.
Peace.